if you looking to get into the Sprinter van business and you think if you're gonna stay local that you necessarily need a Sprinter van, please do not go buy a Sprinter van if you do not already have one. You are not on any of these apps already. It's so many people who still reaching out trying to figure out what apps we using. Like this stuff been online for years. And if you haven't got on with these apps already, I'm sorry, you probably gonna be waitlisted. And if you do get on with these apps, it's gonna take a while for you to actually get going on these algorithms and stuff. So, you know, I would just start with what you have. You don't need a Sprinter van to do this stuff. 90% of the stuff that I do every day does not require me to have my van. The only job I do on a daily basis that I need my van for is if I do a sun run order. You know, I might get those 3 times, 4 times a week, but that's not always a good thing. Sometimes I get these orders going to places in south of us, like Port St. Lucie. If I go to Port St. Lucie, yeah, I might make $200 to go down there, but I got to come right back. There's nothing coming out of Port St. Lucie, so the Sprinter van is cool. If you're going over the road, it's what I originally bought the Sprinter van for. Locally, like I said, you don't need the Sprinter van. Like I just drive it, because I'm not gonna go purchase another vehicle and have more debt and just to do local logistics. Now I do make do because I do less loads. I just wait on the bigger loads. And so I might not do, like I used to do, 10 gigs a day. I might do 3 or 4. They might all be cargo van loads or whatnot. But the people who are in cars and SUVs and stuff be way busier. They got less dead time. They can pick up those little $20, $30 orders all day. They consistently going. You got a lot of car orders too that go far. Like, you got airport orders that never require a van, always a car. They make you paying $400 or $500 for these airport orders. So don't get caught up on just the cargo van business. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not planning on going over the road, that's exactly what I bought this cargo van for. And I still have the option to go over the road if anything changes locally. And you want to have that flexibility, but a lot of y'all don't ever plan on going over the road. So if you don't plan on going over the road, you don't need no Sprinter van. It's so saturated on these gig apps that even if you go get a Sprinter van, if you own some of these apps, people who own these apps still have issues making consistent money because, trying to multi-app and it just ain't working for them. You know what I'm saying? So like, depending on your market, here in Central Florida, it's so competitive. It's so many drivers out there. I have less issues when I go to Tampa and my South Florida. But in Orlando market, man, Orlando market is crazy. Like you gotta be on it. Like if you don't have your phone with you, a half a second, you'd probably missed out on an order because somebody else already picked it up. So don't go jump into a Sprinter van, create yourself more debt if you don't already have a Sprinter van and you just trying to stay local. If you're trying to go over the road, that's a totally different story. Make sure you get the right Sprinter van and make sure if you're trying to go over the road, that you're trying to go over the road to be a driver. You're not trying to be no dispatcher, nothing like that, because it's going to be hard to keep driving. I'm be honest with you. It's very hard to keep drivers in your vans when you over the road. So like if you create a business, you have your LLC, you get your authority up and running and stuff like that, and then you start driving and you want to jump out the van, hire you a driver to be in the van, trust me. Not only is you finna be splitting the money down the middle 50-50 to even have a chance of keeping your driver. But even then, when you got a good driver, when they figure out, they've made enough money, to acquire them their own vehicle, they're gonna just go get their own vehicle and lease on with a big corporation, or maybe start their own authority and start running for themselves, because you just make more money doing it by yourself. I really believe like the cargo van industry, I mean, you could create a business out of it, but it's, for me, it's just a job. You know what I'm saying? Like I never want to get my authority active to dispatch somebody else under my authority, right? I'd rather just keep using this as my side hustle, continue doing my real estate, which is my primary job, and continue to make, my 6 figures doing it myself, where I don't have to worry about, nobody else messing up my authority. I don't have to worry about nobody wrecking my vehicles, anything like that. I just keep it simple, one man, one van. I do my little hustle with the Sprinter van. I've been consistently making 6 figures with it, along with real estate. So, that's why this is still my side hustle, the Sprinter van. It just so happened to pay like a regular job. But for me, that's exactly what it is. It's a job, side hustle. It's not a business for me. This is 100% a side hustle. So everything I make with this is just great, you know. But I plan on building my long-term business, my long-term income through real estate. This cargo van stuff, like I'm telling you, if you're not into it yet, you know, I would look at just starting where you are. You know what I'm saying? If you're not trying to go over the road, don't get a van. Start where you at. You can't get on with the gig apps, like I said, because you waitlisted. Now you know. You know, you don't want to get a van and then now you're on these, you know, social media platforms trying to hire somebody to dispatch you, try to move your van. You know, that's the worst feeling in the world, man, knowing you got new debt along with all the debts you had before. And now you're trying to figure out how to move your van because you got commercial insurance and you got a van note that you got to pay. So, you know, just think about that before you jump into this industry. If you're not already in here, you're not already actively working, doing local stuff, check before you go out and purchase any vehicle that you're even going to be able to get on some of these apps. And if you do get on these apps, just start where you at. And therefore, whenever you do decide to go get you a van, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. Don't get caught off guard, caught by surprise, and then you end up with a bunch of debt that you can't get out of.